you how I see you. I can take a picture of you, show you, and we're seeing the same thing supposedly.
Supposedly. There is that whole, what was it? Not dilemma, but like thing where it's like I could be a purple tentacle monster, but and you could be the shape-shifting monkey.
I will never know what you are seeing. Regardless, I could be, like I said, I could take a picture of you and show you, and we can agree that is you, and you could be seeing something completely different than I am today.
But then that goes into like this whole thing of like existence. Well,
I like to think of this one too. What if we are all literally blind?
Right.
And the voices or the sounds that we hear make up what we see.
No, like what if we? Because like on a grand scheme of things, we would never know we were blind or not if our fact like we were in a species that was able to just create images in our mind and our mind sees but our eyes don't, and that way everything our mind creates inside of itself to create an image that we are perceiving is in fact just what our mind believes it's seeing, and we are in fact blind.
Which sense do you think first developed?
I gotta say hearing.
Hearing.
I gotta say hearing. Because there's
my gut instinct, it's hearing or touch.
I don't think it'd be touch. Maybe it could be touch though. My thought process is when you're in the womb, everybody always makes that big deal. It's like play Mozart on the belly because it helps them develop.
It's true.
But I'm like, so that's why I say hearing. But if it's touch, you know, can you imagine how wild that would be?
But what about like babies kicking?
That's what I'm saying, right? Like that's motion. There's no guarantee that they put their foot up against the edge of the belly and go.
This is a big stretch, but can we argue that touching and hearing are the same thing?
You could. They're both vibrations felt by the body.
Yeah, right.
That's what blind people do. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few of them that learn that clicking thing. You know, where there's like, have you never heard of it? There's like these few cases.
Oh yeah, it's on the same level as how sonar works.
Like how bats use it.
So sonar sends a wavelength out. And then it comes back, and then it can measure the distance of that sound.
I think whales and bats do that.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So there are a few people who have actually successfully created it or replicated it for themselves who are blind.
To a really phenomenal level, not to the level where it's like
somebody's taking a shit 3 houses down. Like it's
no, but yeah, they're like clickers. They do like clicks with their tongues, and it like helps them to understand their surroundings. A lot of faults in that, in the sense that like if you're clicking out to something and it doesn't bring back a vibration back, you just don't know it's there.
Yeah.
So like a lot of issues that those people have because they still have walkers is that, you know, like pits.
Yeah.
They could fall in a pit anytime because it won't send it won't depict that topography back there.
Yeah. The sound wave won't reflect back, so they won't hear the change in pitch between what they just clicked and what's coming back at. You know what's weird? Actually, before we get to the actual topic between life and art, because I do want to bring up new Pokemon game.
No,
it's not out yet.
The free world
new one. The new
Legend,
the free
right?
world one.
No, the one they just announced
Which
today.
one's that one?
Today.
Yeah, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Let me look at
Wait,
this
but there's one that's like a free world.
Yeah, that's Pokemon Arceus doing. So that was Pokemon Legend of Arceus.
Is that one?
And then they did a remake on Pearl, right?
What?
They did a remake on Pearl.
No.
Bro, I swear there's 2 Pokemon games out right now.
Maybe they made a remake.
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. What?
Yep. So here's the thing. I'm not even gonna get to that right now.
Why don't you bring it up?
Because that was gonna be the topic I was gonna use to talk about art and life and stuff. It's arts. Pokemon is art, no matter what you say, it's art.
It is.
Yes.
I mean,
but
we can
I
go into it
completely
like this,
forgot what I was about to say.
like your favorite Pokemon said a lot about you.
No, it does. It does. Who's your favorite Pokemon?
Well, honestly, Blaziken.
Yeah?
He's awesome.
Bidoof.
Yeah.
The one with the fucking beaver teeth?
Yeah, Bidoof. I beat a Dialga with that bitch.
The God, are you the God Bidoof guy?
I am the God Bidoof guy.
What's the one where you do the quiz before Mystery Dungeon? And
Yeah.
it tells you what Pokemon.
Oh
it
yeah,
is?
what Pokemon were you when you did that?
When I did Mystery Dungeon? Is that the one where you you are going around.
You are the
and you're-
Pokemon. There's
Yeah,
like
you got sent to another. It's isekai into another world. You're solving mysteries. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like puzzles, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the one where you took your stylus on your DS and you circled.
No, that's Ranger. That's
No.
I think
that's like the humanitarian Pokemon, right? So we gotta capture this Pokemon to help them, and then we'll set them free later.
So your partner Pokemon is a Squirtle.
No. You do like this personality thing on it, right? That'll be your main character, and then you do a mini personality one that'll be your like side character.
I thought I was definitely not the Squirtle, but my partner was a Squirtle. I think I was like a grass type.
You know, I remember. I think I remember mine because I'm pretty sure I was a Squirtle. I was a Squirtle, and my partner Pokemon I think was a Cyndaquil.
Pokemon.
I didn't have a DS back then, so I didn't play this.
They had it on Game Boy.
No,
Because they had a blue and red version.
Did
Yeah, buddy.
I probably didn't have
Yeah,
it.
buddy.
I was just watching him play a day
It
game.
was like during that transition of. It was during that like Game Boy Advance.
Oh, when they had the
Game Boy
fat
Advance
DS and they were trying to switch to the light.
DS, exactly.
Okay,
During that transition.
do you want to do a quiz to see who you get now? I have all.
Yeah.
Is it like
Okay.
you got a specific quiz?
So there's 5 quizzes: Mystery Dungeon Red Blue, Explorers of Time and Darkness, and then Explorers of Sky, and then all Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers, Time, Darkness, and Sky. I say we just do the everything and we see what we get. How much time do we have? How about we just do a quick 9 questions?
How many were there?
It goes up to 171.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wait,
We'll do that off screen.
Yeah.
the everything
We
one,
have the
right?
time.
Yeah.
I don't know how much
that's
time.
it.
9 questions. Got it.
Yeah, let's do the 9 questions.
There's
Tell
a-
me what you get.
There's a mini one on the Nintendo website too. That's only 6 questions. You send a postcard to a friend. What exciting news do you have to share? Wait. Oh, I see. Like, why would you send a postcard? I don't know why. None of these explore a new trail. I visit a neat museum. I won a contest. I would do the new trail, honestly. 'cause-
You're eating at a restaurant when you abruptly realize that everyone's gone. What do? Alone, I look for an employee. Who's worried? I keep eating. Or
yeah, that's,
I swipe food from other tables. I definitely swipe food from
everybody
other
leave.
tables. Everybody's gone. I'm alone.
Oh yeah, I would try it.
I would-
try food.
I would definitely try a little thing from everybody's plate.
What do you value most? Adventure, relaxation, knowledge, friends and family, competition. Adventure, come on, man. Where would you go for your dream vacation? Historical site, hot springs, theme park, oceanside. How would your friends describe you? How would you guys describe me?
Like, imagine.
Out of these 4,
Out of
friendly, passionate, resourceful, adventurous.
Resourceful or adventurous. Those are the 2.
I say passionate.
Oh shit.
Right.
No.
This-
Hear me out. Hear me out, right?
Okay, so you picked the one we didn't choose.
No, I haven't picked it yet.
I
I
say
friendly, adventurous.
I say passionate because, like, you are resourceful, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, when you're passionate about something, you're not thinking like, "Well, how do I MacGyver this? You're like, can I just find something to get the job done?" But you won't rest until that job is done.
I need a consensus here. We're going with passionate on this one.
You're going with passion. Have you ever made a pitfall trap? I've fallen into a pitfall trap.
Chocolate chip cookies or smoothies? Cookies. What's one thing you can't leave the house without? My smile.
I'm lit. Right. I got my answer.
My glass.
But it said, I'm rash. So I'm like,
Oh, it's just your Pokemon type. Oh.
oh no, you.
What is quiz that I did?
Oh yeah, mine just gave me the calm type. Who'd you get?
Nah, bro, you gotta do this. You gotta fucking go through all this shit.
Oh.
I don't know why it has this stupid Pokemon dialogue. Oh, there,
Oh, there you go.
we got the same shit.
Oh yeah, this is who I got. I got a Mudkip.
You said you got a grass type.
I thought I got a grass type. I also said I thought I got a Squirtle.
Well, that
It
was
was a
like
Mudkip.
your partner Pokemon.
Yeah, no, but when I saw the Mudkip, I remembered. Now I did.
Let me do mine. Yeah.
Right.
Do you guys remember what
Also,
region this is?
I'm ordering.
Oh, you're already.
Two. Just making
You
sure.
just gotta hit next until you get to the end on the quiz.
Yeah, once it tells you that.
I'm an electric type.
No, you gotta keep hitting next.
No, that's this one. I'm an electric type.
Oh.
Steve is officially Pikachu.
Oh, he took the wrong quiz. He actually took it off of Nintendo's website. Anyway, I'm a Mudkip. Who are you?
I was also a Mudkip.
Which one did you do? Everything?
Yeah.
No, yeah, everything.
And then do 9 questions.
He's gonna get Mudkip.
Do you tend to laugh?
No. Because
how are you?
it said we were rash. Or it said I was rash. I don't think Steve was rash.
I was a calm type.
Always.
Oh, what the fuck? Then how do we get the same Pokemon? That's so dumb.
It asked me if I like to be the center of attention, and I said yes.
See, I didn't get that question.
Right, because there are a total of.
I got a question that was like,
any things that you would like to
if
do?
you broke a rotten egg in your room, what would you do? And I was like, open a window? And the other choice was smell it. I was like, what the fuck?
Mine said, have you ever thought there was buried treasure in your backyard?
Bruh.
Arts, ladies and gentlemen.
There's a person you like, but there's no opportunity to get close.
I've done the Harry Potter one, and I always get the Slytherin.
Look from afar.
You are totally a Slytherin.
But I'm not a snake. I'm just rude.
Hear me out, right? If you look at the Slytherin house in general,
I just think I'm Malfoy, bro.
you just think of Malfoy, but that's the thing, right? If you look at the whole of Slytherin weren't like these guys that are like, yeah, Voldemort's the fucking goat. Malfoy was a bitch.
Yeah.
Right? Flat out bitch, and everybody was like, his father has the most money, so nobody fucks with him. Right? Every other Slytherin in the entire house of Hogwarts was like, we're just cutthroat motherfuckers. Right? This is how it goes, right? Voldemort said,
Bulbasaur.
you're a Bulbasaur? That's pretty cool.
What was the thing? Did it say you were like calm or something? No?
I'm lonely.
Oh,
They're lonely starters. Cubone. Aw.
So you got lonely, you got calm,
and you
I got rash. I get the rash, but I don't get how he's calm.
No, it's because you're a Slytherin.
We'll do a... Oh, I got rid of it.
No, but like Heike, right? When Voldemort was like, just give me Harry Potter, everything's fine.
I'm doing the in-depth one later.
And then Harry Potter was, and then everybody was like, we're not giving up Harry Potter. Fuck you. And the Slytherins were like, nah, bro, hear me out, right? Real talk. He only has beef with Harry, not us. And everybody was like, take him to the dungeons, get him out of here. Guess what fucking happened? Harry Potter went, yeah, we're gonna fight. A bunch of people died, and then he went, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Hold up. I actually do need to go to Voldemort. He actually does need to kill me. And then we can run this back. Alright? So the Slytherins, from the get, they were like, hand him over, they will figure it out. Right? And he was like, no. Gryffindor was like, no, we'll fight first, ask questions later. So, I'm just saying, I'm a Hufflepuff.
What's a Hufflepuff then?
A Hufflepuff are these dumb ass motherfuckers.
Are they the guys that are just like, this ain't my steez?
No. They're the guys that are like, oh, we're fighting? And they pull out an AK-47.
Who's like the main Hufflepuff person?
In the movies, there were only two. There was the guy who died in the Goblet of Fire.
Yeah, Edward.
And then
Bro, Edward isn't fun.
Edward
This man's about to be Batman right now, too.
He was a wizard.
Yeah. And then he became a vampire.
And now he's a bat.
And now... the evolution.
Okay, wait, what's Ravenclaw?
Ravenclaw, they are...
In your interpretation.
In my interpretation, Ravenclaws are like the most loyal friend to the Hufflepuffs because they are the motherfuckers that are just like, listen, I get it. You really do just want to do your thing, Hufflepuff. But at the end of the day, have you done your research? Like, Gryffindors are fight first, ask questions later. Slytherins are ask questions later, then fight. Right? Hufflepuffs are just all fight in response. Like, if somebody's getting fucked up, Hufflepuffs are just like...
So Ravenclaw's the guy in the back, they're just like,
do you know
I think
why?
a Ravenclaw is like
There's a guy who
Shikamaru.
doesn't start the
Ravenclaws are Shikamarus at the end of the full force, right? They're just they
Like,
ask
you see the
the
drag.
So you're Slytherin, you said you're a... So what would I be?
Gryffindor all the way. The fuck?
I was at the other houses, to be honest.
It's only four. At least in the
without
European branch.
Without the new shit that they're doing.
No, because apparently they're like there's each college, so the Americans, Europe. I'm assuming Mexico. I'd love me to
It's in
Mexico.
Americas, though, isn't it?
I don't know if all of
I mean,
South
not isn't
America.
it, but like,
Well,
wouldn't you think it'd be part of the same branch? of the Americas.
So you're saying like if like
Continent-wise.
Central America, South America should have each their own.
Oh,
school.
I see it. Okay, because you went the Americas, Mexico, like the way your hands were positioned.
I'm sorry, I meant
you made it seem like they were on different continents.
No, I meant to say the U.S. has their own college.
So it's like the UK, the US, Mexico.
Right. I'm assuming each.
Is it Mexico or is it Central America?
I have no idea if Mexico has their own school. I've never actually done that much research. I just know America has one, and then there's Hogwarts. So each one has 4 houses that each have their own animal. Hufflepuffs is the badger. Right?
Gryffindors are griffins.
Right.
Slytherins are snakes.
Actually, Gryffindor is a lion.
Are they?
Yeah, it's actually the lion. It's not a whole griffin.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not like a magic creature. It's just one creature. Ravenclaw is obviously the raven.
Hufflepuffs are obviously Huffles.
But this brings me into like this whole thing, right? Like where
what are Hufflepuffs? I feel like those would be like little, like cute, little fat, little pigeons.
Well, it's
That's what I think of when I think of Hufflepuff.
just a fat pigeon.
It's like a cute one. You know what I mean?
No.
Where it's not like you're like shoo. You're just like I kind of want to just like pet you.
That's why you're a Gryffindor. You're a fucking Gryffindor. You're out here like, yeah, like everybody else is a bitch compared to me. Right? Gryffindor lies. Hufflepuff's like you some sort of fluffy pigeon sort of deal. Fuck out of here, that shit. But it's funny because like that's a really great example of a Hufflepuff.
Wait, no, Ron, Hermione, and Harry are all Gryffindor, right?
All Gryffindor.
But they all have different personalities.
They 100%
10
did.
points, Gryffindor.
But the whole point of it, oh no, don't get me started on that fucking bullshit. I rewatch the Harry Potter movies at least 3 times a year.
Don't tell you that.
What's a new
All
shit?
the book readers are gonna get pissed off at you.
The new reader. Oh
No. There's like this like new shit for Harry Potter.
sort of. On HBO, they released 2 new giant things. One was a callback to Harry Potter where they got all the actors and people who are still alive from the movies.
I'm thinking of Enchanted Beasts.
Oh, you're talking about
That's still Harry Potter.
Fantastical Beasts.
Fantastical Beasts
sorry.
is where to find them. 1 and 2, which is
Aren't they doing like a Dumbledore like origin story?
I saw
now?
that too.
that's kind of what this is.
Oh, the movie. Is
Yeah.
that the movie?
Because if you go back to the movies, the Harry Potter movies, at the end where they're like, oh, he attacked this guy named Grindelwald. Right? And there was like, what's going on? It's because Grindelwald had the Elder Wand.
I just want to know what drugs J.K. Rowling was to put these names in this book, bro.
Is that the guy's first name or last name? Okay, much better.
It's just like
imagine your dad going, "I love this child. Let's name him Grindelwald."
no, it's like
I'm sorry,
how
anyone's named Grindelwald. I love
Dumbledore was named Albus. His name was Albus, but they called it.
Well, Harry Potter
I'm
named his son
convinced.
like Albus Server. Like,
Yeah,
he's like, I'm gonna take everybody
Albus.
that died and that I kind of had.
My
He
guess
like
is she was
that-
on shrooms.
It was Sirius, Albus, Cerberus, Potter.
Potter.
Because yeah. And fucking, have you actually heard Dumbledore's full name?
It's Albus Dumbledore.
No, it's Albus Wolfric something Dumbledore.
I would love if that was like literally his middle. Like his middle name was literally something.
Wolfric something. No, but so
I want to give him a 4th name. What should we name it? I don't know. Name it something. Doctor's literally writing it down. No, that's not. Well, too late.
his full name was Albus Wolfric. 10 points to Gryffindor. No, that pissed me off in the movie so much. I'm like, what the fuck is the whole point of going to classes, going to school, doing everything, being a good person, just so the bitch that literally Hitler is after, Hitler basically is after this fucking kid. And because he makes it through a school year without dying, Gryffindor just wins? At the end of the day, you know what he did? You know
That's
what he
main
did?
character energy.
No, like you know what he did?
Plot armor.
In Escape from Azkaban to earn all those extra points, he set a hippogriff free. That's all he did.
Oh.
Didn't he get hella lucky in the Goblet of Fire too?
In the Goblet of Fire, no, he didn't. That was all staged. That one dude with the weird eye,
Yeah,
that was ended up being a different dude with a different
not
weird
a little rat, but he was he was a spot.
Wormtail, not Wormtail. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Wormtail was the actual. He was from Azkaban, right?
Yeah, Wormtail was a rat.
He was the actual rat who was a rat.
Yeah, but no, in Goblet of Fire, the whole thing was just the one dude who was pretending to be Mad Eye was just like, okay.
Yeah, it was like, I got you, Harry. We're about to fuck you up.
Yeah,
In a good way. But now we're gonna fuck you up in the worst way possible.
Right. He was like, first things first, I'm gonna put your name in. Nobody's gonna suspect me. Second thing second, I'm gonna tell Ron to tell you that you're gonna be fighting dragons. And then I'm gonna coach you on how to fight a dragon. Third thing is I'm gonna tell Neville to start growing this dumbass weed so you have something to fucking swim with. And then the fourth thing was we're just gonna.
You really do watch these every year.
I know. I
I like watching it.
I read the books.
No, I'm saying like I haven't watched this in a while.
I read the books once.
I read the first book and I was like, "There's too much detail in this shit."
So
bro.
much detail. I was like, why? Like the ghosts are such a big part of the story, and yet they accomplish nothing in terms of plot.
Yo, Patronus.
The ghosts are like all here. They're like, "Hey, come to my birthday dinner," and he's like, "Yeah."
Oh yeah, the mirror, the ghosts in the pictures. Yes.
Yeah, they're like, "Come to my birthday dinner." He shows up, and there's not a single plate of food for living things here. It's all maggots and rime. And so he's just like, cool, we're going to dip. So basically all I'm saying is, if you watch Harry Potter, Gryffindor's entire beef was they had Harry because he chose to be there. And then they won every year because Harry wasn't dead. Harry made it out alive another year to go back to his abusive fucking family.
You can just imagine afterwards.
That's what we call
graduated. Yeah, Hufflepuff would have won that year, but politics.
No, like if I was Hufflepuff, I'd be like,
I would have made the Quidditch team, but politics.
well, okay, no.
I was gonna be the seeker, but they had Harry and the favorite.
Each house had their own. No, each house had their own Quidditch team, and Hufflepuff never got them. It was always Slytherin and Gryffindor that you got to watch because everybody's like, "Oh, you see that? They're heated." Right? Meanwhile, Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw are good friends. Hey, we
They're
get
just
along.
chilling, drinking some beer.
Right?
End of the game, they're high five. Hey, good game.
Like, good game. Fuck
The other characters like going at
Hey, I
it.
hope you have a good season. Come on. That sucks though. Like, how many games do you think they play? Like 20?
Yeah.
All right, who we play today? Oh yeah, it's here. We got 3 chances to
Yeah,
choose it right.
that is like
Either Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, or Slytherin if you're Ravenclaw.
right. If you're Ravenclaw, you're genuinely just like, are we playing Hufflepuff or Slytherin? Because if so, we don't fuck with them. We don't want to play against them. Did you see that game last week? They were literally shooting cannonballs at that fucker Harry Potter. He broke an arm just because he was playing. and then fucking servers got caught on fire and shit. Like, fuck those teams. We'll play Hufflepuff. Nobody's going after Hufflepuff.
And this is a great segue into our topic today.
Art reflects life. Here's why.
Well, then this is why it's a great segue. It's
Yeah.
because, like, as we were discussing all of that Harry Potter shit,
Yeah.
like, how much world building had to go into to create such a fantasy.
Not even that. Imagine how many people currently live on this planet that are just like, I'm Hufflepuff, and I live by their code. Right? Like, I live by the code of Hufflepuff. I'm like, bro, same but
Well, that was the thing with that became like a big riot back in 2016, 2015 area when Pokemon Go came out.
Yep, that was a big thing too, right?
Team Red, or I forget the date.
Team Red, Team
Red,
Blue.
Yellow, or Blue.
What?
It was yellow, red, and blue.
Yeah.
Yellow and blue. It was Valor,
Mystic.
Where the fuck the
and
red
then
one was.
whatever the blue one was.
No, blue is Mystic, right?
Was Red Valor?
Red
I was
Valor.
yellow. I remember everyone was like, Red or Blue, and I was like, fuck that, I'm yellow.
I picked red out the gate, and then I changed teams because of how heated it got.
Our own friend group became a little like, you're on what? That's why I was like, neutral team, yellow.
They don't even have like my problem with it though was like it wasn't like Red Team came out and was like, we're Team Valor, we believe in helping people and being the greatest change in the world. No, it was just we're Team Valor, our color is red.
Yeah.
And people win.
And Moltres.
Right. And there's Moltres.
Oh, sorry, did I scare you?
Okay.
The people win. We fight or die by our code. Like, what the fuck is that? That's what I love about art in general. You could put out a piece of art and the world can genuinely just look at it and get behind it so hard. You know, people are like in the streets, like genuinely, just for art. we have a whole. I'm not gonna get into it, but we have a whole other issue going on right now that people could be in the streets protesting. No. For Pokemon Go, they had to call cops on how many people to get them out of our fucking parks past curfew.
Well, yeah. So this was a previous topic we talked about, and sadly didn't get recorded. So like, let's just get into some of the things we brought up. So I remember there was one thing that stuck out that I remember that kind of sparked this whole this little rabbit hole we went down. But that was the idea of people who make those movies and whatnot, especially Avatar. That was I think you made this comment, and it was on Avatar. The one with the blue people. The one with the blue people.
Not the trash ass.
Listen. So the movie Avatar the Airbender.
Yes.
We as a collective species need to put that in a box. And it can only be found in post-apocalyptic situations. Now, the one with the blue people had a really good message to it about colonization.
but your comment was I don't know where you got the inspiration of this idea, but you were what if people see into those worlds, and that's how they.
Oh, that was what we were talking about. I was talking about how there's this theory I came up with when I was a kid. Where it's we have all these TV shows and movies and books, right, about other worlds with these fantastical, magical abilities, or just superheroes.
The world building of it is on some crazy level.
It's on some crazy level. So I made the theory, whereas what if in fact we are as a species? The reason why we're alone in the universe is because each and every single one of us sees into our own different worlds. And the select few make movies and write books about the worlds they can see into.
Yeah.
Right? Where, in fact, these other dimensions and worlds exist, but us as the divine oracles of the universe basically sit here and go, we're just going to watch this play out. And then I'm going to write a book.
I always thought about this. I'm what if you just made a book based on questions of, little kids' questions? There's a guy named Harry. Okay, what about him? Who's Harry? His name's Harry Potter. And he's a wizard. Okay, where? Yeah. You just have that little nagging kid that just always asks that question, where? What's his school then? How did he learn it? How did he learn to be a wizard?
So as we were saying a second ago, right? So we might possibly live in this world, right? We know there are aliens out there and everything, but as it currently stands, our biggest thing is media, right? We have all this art, and all these entertainment and things like that. So I raised to you the question, right? It's a moral question, right? A real moral dilemma. If we are the oracles, and all we're doing is seeing into the world, then we don't really have a responsibility to anything like that, right? Because the idea is this. If we are oracles and we see into the world, then fine, great. We get all this information. We sit here in front of our screens. We watch the most horrendous and suffering type shit, and we go, fuck yeah, rise above it all and be who you are. Or it's the other thing where we do create these worlds, and when we create these worlds, do they then become real? Right?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Well, yeah. Especially putting it on paper, right? And this is now that the juices are flowing.
Right, yeah.
So I think I counted that. I was added on to the fact of if you're able to imagine it, put it into on paper as in a form of either writing or drawing,
then if it becomes real,
we can all. It's almost the thing of now we can all understand the image, even though they're mythical because no one's seen it. We all have an idea of what a dragon looks like, unicorns, all these mythical beings that different races, elves, dwarves, reiterated across different cultures, and they all come to the same kind of conclusion. Dwarves are the smaller people, usually are blacksmiths, carry hammers. Right. Elves are high royalty, above
bitch asses
shit, yeah.
Right. But here's the beautiful thing about it, right? What amazes me about art is because you can look at art, and you can look at a movie, and I'll be sitting in front of the TV, and I would be genuinely as angry as I would be if this happened to somebody I knew.
Yeah, if you put yourself into those shoes, it'd just be like you could like see yourself white knuckling in situations where you're like, I would swing.
Right? So, like, it wouldn't even be a question of do the elves need alliance with the dwarves? It'd be straight hands.
That's the hard part about that though, because you have like that like oracle like god like in like when you go to the Marvel Universe observers, right?
Right.
See
Yeah.
and you can't do anything about it, right? Because you're like, if they only knew this thing that only the main character or like this small group knows.
Right. But like,
if they knew the real reason behind it, they'd get behind this idea.
Yeah. No, because I talk to myself about it all the time, right? Whereas, like, if somebody from any of these famous worlds, Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, whatever, came to our world, and then went, wait a second, so you have our entire lives just in a book to be read at any moment of leisure? And we're like, yeah. And he goes, you just let us suffer this way? And he goes, well, technically speaking, yes.
It's already written, mister.
Right. Technically, this is how your life's supposed to go. But, like, good news, because so then it goes to this. If they blame us for making their world as shitty as it is, then at the end of the day, we can be like, good news, your world's meant to win, right? The good guys win at the end of the day. So,
a lot of death, a lot of gore, and a lot of like sadness.
Right, like,
but guess what? You won.
Right, like at the end of the day, Hitler goes down. At the end of the day, Iron Man snaps his fingers. At the end of the day. But yeah, definitely, for a split moment, they would be insanely pissed. Because we are making.
I was gonna say, you guys kind of have to win. Like that's why we have to write it that way, because if like Thanos won and he came to this world, like we lose too, so we couldn't even tell you that your shit's all in a book.
Yeah. Like if in fact what we made is real, we're protected because nobody really knows we exist, right? Because like think about it, in all the multiple worlds and everything like that, the AUs and shit like that, no one's ever like, oh, and then they came to our world and they spoke to Biden. No. They're like, oh, they go into a different Marvel universe and they're all stuck inside the alternate Marvel universes. They're never going to get to our world.
Before we get into our headcanons, I have like a couple questions.
Yeah.
Of like, so like the Marvel universe, they've done the already multiverse kind of ideal.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one that we watch or the one that's more mainstream is like Earth 616.
Yeah.
Like the OG Spider-Man, all them.
Yeah.
It's like the prime Earth.
Right, where like every
Earth.
Marvel character that ever existed actually did exist, at least there in some.
Yeah. That's like the thing where everything kind of goes correspondingly correct in terms of for the heroes.
Right.
What Earth do you think we are on?
What Earth do I think we are on? Yeah. We are on Earth 999, and I say.
So you're saying we're on Earth like X,
right?
Or X plus 1?
Because we have to be. If you think about it. What we need to be on an Earth so remote, so out there that we can look into these worlds, witness their heroic triumphs and their greatest downfalls, put it into a book to sell to like 8-year-olds that are like, oh, Iron Man, and not deal with the repercussions of any of it.
Do you think our let's say reality is punished in the sense of like because we can imagine like, oh, if only you can literally do this like thought experiment where you go, okay, what if there was one superhero in this world,
right?
Or one super being, like they could take that, you could take that in many directions. Oh, they could destroy the planet. Oh, they could turn the tides so many different ways.
Right.
Do you think we've ruined that privilege in a sense?
I think we have. Do
you think that's why like magic is not as, or like magic in the sense of like, animes and like I said, Marvel is not as prominent in this world?
I completely think that is the reason why we don't have magic. Because if we did have magic, and we did have superheroes, we have to then take the responsibility, or at least the backlash that comes with it. When you have magic and you have the ability to rewrite the very rules of your world, right? Nobody ever talks about this in comics. So you have Superman, you have magics, you have all these things, you have Shazam and shit like that. You have all these people in this world tipping the balance of what is real and what is not, right? Here in our world, we have the laws of physics. You can't go faster than the speed of light, and if you do, fuck shit happens. We talked about that. Fuck shit happens. But when you have magic and you're like, oh, well, guess what? We can run faster than the speed of light. then you're just opening yourself up to a world of fucked shit. That's why we don't have magic. If we had any of that, then we would have to deal with it.
Do you think it's a thing of our intelligence?
I don't think it's a thing of our intelligence at all. I think it's a thing of our will. Our will to genuinely have those things be upon us.
So we have a lot of will.
We don't have enough will.
Oh,
we don't. If we had,
none of us are Green Lantern worthy.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like if I gave you literal power to create any construct how you want to create it with just your mind, right? And then what do you think happens when you're able to do that? You think it's just cool. Now I sit on this planet and I protect its people. No, somebody out there is gonna notice, oh fuck. Hey, that guy has superpowers. Look at the rest of them. It's like if we found an ant colony, right? And one of those ants had laser vision, right? And when it shot out a laser, we could see the light from space. Okay? We would eventually go, oh fuck! Time to go see what's up with that ant colony, and we'd fuck with it.
Oh yeah.
That's what would happen to us if any of us had superpowers.
Almost definitely. That's like the first fear that comes to mind is if I ever had like a super. Like, who's watching? But if I had a superpower, that'd be my first like train of thought. I'm like, okay.
Who was
the moment it comes out? Yeah, you're gonna be probed.
Right.
In whatever way possible.
You don't just become near God and have nothing happen to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so that's why I'm just like, that's why we keep it in the books.
So this was again, before we get to the head canon, this brought up something from our last time we discussed this topic. Mm-hmm. But I was talking about how this is the hardest, on the difficulty scale of worlds, right? Mm-hmm. SS being like what's hard.
No, yeah, we were talking about
F being like the easiest world in the world.
We were talking about like overly cautious here on the rating.
Yeah,
and how we would be.
Ours would be S to the power of X.
We'd be the hardest.
Ours is the most difficult so far.
Yeah, because
no one person can
show up and
save the problems that have been created.
Right. No one, even if you got like the next Jesus Christ to fall down.
How much do you think he would be able to do right now?
No.
Yeah.
No. Think about it, right? Even if Superman himself came falling from the stars, he would just make the problems worse.
Yeah.
Because
you would just add magnitude to the good and the bad. So it would just be a big like hourglass shape of like good and bad.
Right.
You know?
Right now we have like, I would like to think like a pretty uniform too. It's kind of shit at all points of the day.
It's like it's very jagged, I would say.
Yeah, but like you get points of like, hey, things are really good, things are really bad, but it's always gonna
within this bubble. Yeah, so like there's this bubble that will like pop the like reality of people's mind, right? And like this like whatever fluctuates within that bubble is like within the realm of our world, right? In that sense. I could see that.
Because we remember we were talking about it like this, right? Isekais, right? Isekais are always like, the Demon King is going to destroy the world, send your greatest warrior, or whoever the fuck you can find, quite frankly, amongst Isekais, and send them to the world to save it. If you sent anybody from any world to our world and said, fix it, where would they start? The educational system? Where the fuck would they begin? Even if you reincarnated them same age, right? So let's say solid 24, they don't need to go through the whole stepping stone process of being a baby and becoming an adult. They just showed up with the knowledge they had and they're the full adult. Where the fuck would they begin? They don't even have a social security number.
I think the closest solution I can see to like, let's say like, you have your selection of like, it doesn't even have to be main character. Any character in any like media form. Like which one would be the most successful unitarily, like this one person? Yeah. I think it would be Lelouch from Code Geass. I think he would be the one guy who
if he gets to keep his powers, sure.
That's what I mean. Yeah. I think he would be the one guy who'd be able to like make it work. Because his whole idea is I'm going to conquer the whole world and then I'm just going to disappear. Right. I'm going to create one enemy for the entire world and then they'll defeat me, and now what? Now they can't really be mad at each other because they were all working together to defeat one thing.
Right. And I give you that. I raise a counter argument. Iron Man is at the end of the day a businessman who privatized world peace. I feel like he could do it.
I think so too, but again, like knowing it's a matter of like we get them as they are. We don't get to like we don't get to, okay, Iron Man, you can't be an alcoholic anymore.
Right.
All right, Iron Man, you can't be
sell
so
weapons to
you
people.
can't be very narcissistic this time.
Well,
I feel like Lelouch is the only person where I'd be like as is, you know, or I'm like, okay, out of my selection, I grab him, boom. All right, become the conqueror of this world and kill yourself off.
So then, let me throw you an idea then, right? We're talking about how art reflects life and life reflects art. So let's say, who do you think is the closest we could get to Lelouch, right? Do you think it's somebody like Facebook or like, you know, like who controls the media and controls people's thoughts basically and then says, these are the enemies, right? Or like, do you think it's like Putin, right? Who's like, let me be this bad guy and invade Ukraine and let China be this fucking guy and do whatever the fuck he's doing. Like, where does
Well, that didn't even help, right? Because like you can relate that to like Snowden, right? Snowden tried to go like, hey, you're always being watched. Everybody's always being watched. Everyone's trying to infiltrate every database that you can. And half the people were like, yes, attaboy. And everyone else is trying to headhunt him. You know what I mean? Or the people who... frankly,
I didn't know Snowden was...
I'm just gonna say, frankly, I guarantee you, like 80% of the population has no idea who the fuck Snowden is.
Look at that. I represent that 80%. Please educate me.
Well, he was a CIA op.
He was that guy.
Yeah,
I remember.
He was the whistleblower.
Yeah.
And then he
went to go hide in the embassy.
He went to Russia to seek asylum, and they gave him asylum. So he's literally in Russia right now. The U.S. can't really touch him.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's fair. I mean, we're not going to invade Russia. But, like, okay, so then Snowden, right? He tried.
But yeah, like, he tried to go, like, hey, this is what's going on. This is, like, what's happening behind the scenes of everything.
Right. He was like, here's the deep state.
Let's pull the cover. And he tried pulling the cover, and there was still yet another cover that was there.
Right.
That's how fast it is. It's like a regenerated cover.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pulls it down, you see like a glimpse of the corner of what's coming out, and the cover's already covered again.
Yep. So then, but you're saying like that's as close as we would get to Lelouch, right? Is like somebody really willing to basically be like, behold the fuck shit.
You know anything from podcasts?
You just ate.
My dad's going to podcast.
Just another order of fries, really. I've been craving fries, dude. Okay. Sidebar that has nothing to do with this. I went to Chick-fil-A. I went to Chick-fil-A the other day with Cassie. Okay. And we were ordering, chicken sandwiches and shit. And I wasn't paying attention to what she was ordering, but I was like, you know what? I just want a basic burger and fries. Solid. I'll just get the same thing she's having. Because I have faith.
She got like a salad or something.
She got a fucking mac and cheese. I was so mad. I was like,
fuck this shit with my fries.
No, that's how I was. Like, how you gonna love the Chick-fil-A? We got mac and cheese at the home. Okay, I can make you mac and cheese, Kraft mac and cheese. That tastes so much better than you can get at a fucking fast food restaurant. And you order fucking mac and cheese and fries. I lost it.
That's such a you move.
I was
such a you move.
I was so
what you're having. What are you having? Just the water.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, when you're having, what are you having? Well, I think I'm gonna have a spicy cheese chicken burger. I don't think that sounds good. I like their spicy chicken burger. And then I'm just going. And here's how I found out though. Here's what made
it. Chopped it off.
No, so we were at the drive-thru. We got the burger. I'm in the passenger side seat. I put my hand in the bag, talking to Cassie, feeling around for the fries. I'm feeling around for the fries, and I'm like, wait, what? And I open the bag, and Cassie's like, yeah, I got a mac and cheese. I was like, how the fuck you gonna get a mac and cheese from Chick-fil-A? All right.
Back to the topic.
Back to the topic. So, that's why I want fries from Five Guys. Because I ain't gonna get my fries any other way. Okay. But when you look at Snowden and you look at Lelouch, my thing is, Lelouch didn't just show up here and was all like, oh, let me be the bad guy. He was like, let me take a moment and realize who the bad guys are.
Oh, yeah.
And let me scare them. Nobody's trying to scare the bad guys anymore. That's why we don't have heroes in this world.
I was just going to tell you, because we had this conversation on a previous podcast. Mm-hmm. Like, why aren't the heroes coming out? Why aren't they showing themselves?
Long time ago, yeah.
The heroes showed themselves. They would be gone the next day.
Heroes have tried before. And you get two types of heroes in our world, canonically. You get your Martin Luther Kings, right? That are like
short term, very short term.
Very short term. You get three types of heroes. So you get your Martin Luther Kings who show up and are like, listen, everybody take a moment, just look me dead in my eyes and understand how fucked this is. And then you get your Gandhis who are like, listen, I'm not gonna be the bad guy here. I'm gonna do everything in my power to make you look like assholes. And both those things work. Then you get, in my opinion, right, the heroes that are really like, all right, fuck this shit, we're gonna do things. And you get your Malcolm X's. You get your Malcolm X's that are like, listen, I'm not sitting here while we wait and let the world figure it out. I want to fight. And everybody and their mother looks at those guys and goes, whoa, hey, whoa. Too intense for our blood. I would really appreciate it if you could just walk your ass from your state to Washington, D.C. and then maybe make a change that way. Or starve for several years. But until then, I can't get behind a guy with guns. It's fucked up. Especially when we don't have superpowers. I mean, think about it. If Malcolm X had laser vision, right, and could fly, people would be like, fuck yeah, Malcolm, fuck him up.
Okay.
Well, we don't.
We're going to get into our head canon in just a sec. Mm-hmm. Is there a single superpower you think you can become the next hero?
Fix the world?
A single one.
Well, yeah. Okay, have you heard my original thesis on how we solve world peace? I think if you hear this, you'll understand why I'm not the person to ask that question to. I think
he been new.
My initial idea. No, I have not known. By the way, my initial idea was airdrop bubble wrap to every country on the planet. Just sheets of bubble wrap everywhere, and everybody's gonna be hella confused, but they're gonna pop it anyway. Right? You can get people in sheet factories. They're gonna be like, "Pop! Why does motherfucker spend billions of dollars to drop bubble wrap?" Pop! I don't know, but we gotta clean this up somehow. Pop! And then while they're doing that out, we fucking take out all the billionaires, and then everybody goes, "Oh, pop!" They took out the billionaires. What are we gonna do? Well, we got this bubble wrap. Pop! That's how I would solve world peace, by distracting everybody with bubble wrap and then getting shit done. So in terms of
your superpower is to be able to produce infinite amount of bubble wrap.
My superpower would be illusions, to distract people. If Godzilla showed up today, you think we could give it a fuck about what's happening anywhere else? Not at all. Now, if Godzilla was an illusion that really didn't do anything but distracted people would stop for a hard moment and be like, we need to figure out Godzilla. And then when they all took a moment to genuinely figure it out, see, it's an illusion, so no matter what the fuck you do to it, it's not going to go away anyway. And then eventually freaked out enough to unite, then poof. And then it'd be like, the answer was friendship all along. That's how I would solve. That's why I don't
have those OG superheroes. Power of friendship. Form of a bucket of water.
Shape of the water inside the bucket. You know what I mean? What will your superpower be? I know you're gonna pick mind control, probably.
It would have to do something with ESP, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be mind control because I don't like taking that away from people that like. But I think it would be honestly like something along the lines of either probably telepathy. Honestly,
if we
being able to read someone's mind,
right.
you there's nowhere you can escape.
Right.
Literally.
No, because you're in their mind.
You're like,
but so here's the thing: we have as close to telepathy that we're ever gonna get, right? We have algorithms in place running 24 hours a day just to figure out what you will buy from Amazon next, right? We could do that, but instead of using it the right way, which is basically like, hey, everybody, just want to let you know, if you want to really help the problems in this world, you can come to this place, ask for this form, sign it, and then they have to do something about it. We're not doing that. We're like, hey, do you want to see a fat frog? Do you want to see a fat frog? I want to see a fat frog. How about we hop on TikTok real quick? Let's look at a fat frog for about 3 hours, and then you'll realize you have your own shit to be doing, like jobs and bills and education.
Okay. On this, man,
you definitely looked at a fat frog this week.
Really running away from this.
Yeah, half of my TikTok is just frogs. I don't know how I got here. I don't even like frogs.
I keep running away from this topic. I want to get to it eventually.
It's because it's hard to stay on. Yeah.
But I want to keep going on this a little bit longer. Is there? So like, okay. Here's the
answer. Joe Rogan. I'm just kidding.
That might be a decent answer to this question, honestly.
Alright, what's the answer?
But it was like, okay, so the scenario is like, let's say this almighty being came down to be able to bestow a power upon one person for you to think, I think this person can fix the world.
Yeah.
Do you have a person in mind? If God literally went to you and was like, hey, go find one person that you think can fix the world, I'll give them one superpower of their choosing.
Yeah. I choose my mom.
You
I choose my mom. My mom would be the only person in the planet that would go, I can have any superpower, and she'd be like, okay, I want to be able to snap my fingers and have food go to anyone who's hungry. You know what I mean? Like, she'd be the one that's just like, let me pick a practical superpower.
Do you think that fixed the world?
I don't think solving world hunger would fix the world, no. But at the end of the day, like I've always said, the only thing that I think that would really fix the world is if we all just kind of understand that money isn't going to fix anything, right? Like, because going back to, again, how art reflects life, Star Trek, they don't have money because they don't need it, right? They build their ships, and they go explore, and they help people when they need help because they have replicators. You need a part, we got replicators. You need food, we got replicators. Hey, you don't got clothes to put on your back, why don't you pop over our ship real quick? We'll print you out a shirt. You know what I mean? They don't need money. They can make whatever they want with whatever they want. The only thing they need is the fuel to power their ships. And they in Star Trek Discovery, the newest one, they went over what would happen if they lost all their fuel. And what happened? They revert.
Just use the replicator to print more fuel.
They actually could. That's the only thing. They can't print fuel. They can print guns. They can print clothes, food, alcohol, anything else besides their fuel. So when they lost their fuel, they reverted. The entire world reverted back to a money-based economy, and it fucked everything up. So when you look at Star Trek and you see how they don't need money, and yet they're living their best lives, right? That's where I go. That's where we need to take a page out of Art's book and come together and say, listen, I love this economy type shit that we got going on, but I don't think in my lifetime, as things are running right now, I'm going to be able to buy that yacht I've dreamed of since I was a kid, right? That's the only reason I need money, to really just buy that yacht. If they got rid of everything else, they said bills taken care of, food's taken care of, shelter's taken care of, right? I would only need money for that yacht. Right? But if they said I could have all that, but I can't have the yacht, I'd be like, oh, okay, I don't even like the ocean. I just want a boat. Okay? So that's my thing, right? We look at because like, let's take it back, right? Instead of superheroes that fight these Goliath battles and people are suffering all the time, like in our world, right? Let's look at the utopian versions of these places. What about them? make them so perfect, right? Why does, like, not even Star Trek, like, look at Star Wars, right? Okay? Why does Star Wars is a bad example because that's not a utopia. They've been fighting their shit ever since
there's a
fucking Jar Jar Binks.
They came out with a movie of it somewhat recently in the past couple of years with The Giver. You read that book in middle school, right?
Is that the book about the giving tree?
No, is this the one with the older person?
Yeah, so this is the one where they have a society where it's utopic, but no one has emotion, and you get assigned your job, you do that. Payment, you don't have to worry about payment. You already, everything's pretty much taken care of.
Right.
But you have to work your role.
Yeah.
People don't have emotion, so people don't have to act on emotion. So everything's always just efficient in that sense. Except for one character, which is the main character, who is given the role as the receiver.
What does that mean?
So there's a giver and a receiver. It's literally just the memories of everything. So literally, it's just between those two characters, really, which is the older guy who's the giver, and every time they have an interaction, all he's doing is transferring, like, not even like personal memories, just memories of like snow,
Just knowledge.
color. Yeah, exactly. Pretty much just knowledge of everything that is kind of not taken away, but lacking in society, which makes it utopic.
So the giver goes to the receiver and says, "You know how you don't have emotions? Here's the flavor."
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Like this is, you're sad.
This is what sad feels like.
Exactly. This is sadness. Oh, this is what winter. This is what winter joy feels like. This is what the cold wind blowing on your face kind of feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And the receiver, it becomes, I guess the word to it is, he went rogue. In a sense, within his society, he goes rogue because he wants to share these memories upon everybody. And it becomes a thing of then it becomes somewhat of a little action pack where it's like, oh, we gotta stop this kid who's trying to break our societal rules.
Yeah.
So I mean, kind of the same thing,
Right?
or at least that's a utopic.
It is
But
utopic.
it's dystopic at the same time.
It's utopic and dystopic. It's like this, right? If you ask me about that world, I'd be like, I haven't read the book and I haven't seen the movie, so don't take my opinion at all. But me personally, I'm looking at that, I'm like, yeah, it sucks to be that guy. It sucks to be the guy living in the world that understands it could be so much more vibrant and so much more colorful and beautiful if everybody had what I had. But you, it sucks to be you, right? But if you, right?
I just thought it sucks to be you,
right? But
it sucks.
But if you're me, and you're the guy that's all like, finish my work day, I'm gonna go home with my wife.
Well, that's what he does. So he goes to his friends and he's like, look at all this shit. And they're like, what are you doing? This sounds dangerous.
Right.
I like this comfort I'm in right now. What are you doing to me?
No, because if for me, right, if I was one of the sheeple, that was just like, listen, I just want to go home with my wife. I don't need every flavor of the world. I just need to be able to love my wife and my children, right? Then I'm living my best life, okay? If that fuck wants to come up in my life and be like, yo, wait, but check it out, right? Have you experienced anger? It's me. Yeah, she's just trying to help me out. If you're like, hey, you want to experience anger for the first time in your life? I'd be like, what's anger? Because I don't know. I only know love for my wife and children and for the life that I've built or been given, right? Then he's like, check it out though, right? Imagine for a split moment if you thought your boss was an asshole, right? That's fucked. Why are you giving that to me? I just want to go to work, come home, love my children. You're just out here because you're sad that you're alone in the fact that you can experience all this shit. I don't need to experience it. You're an asshole. He is. He's a fucking asshole. He's like, check it out. We have this place where people do not starve. People do not need to pay for shelter or electricity. You want to play a video game with your free time? Go for it. We're not going to stop you, right? And he wants to come out of nowhere and be like, yo, hey, I'm going to fuck this all up. Why? You'll thank me later. Because I don't know what he's giving me yet, right?
Yeah.
He's going on this in his adventure, fucking shit up everywhere he goes. I'm assuming. Again, haven't read or seen anything. And then just so everybody in the world can have what he has. I want to be able to decide if that bitch has anything I even want. Like that's like if and I know this is gonna sound like it already exists, right? But that's like if the United States went to like Kenya and been like, yo, I know you guys have your own shit going on right now and you're trying to figure shit out, but have you heard of Chick-fil-A? And they're like, we don't really need Chick-fil-A. And they're like, whoa, hey, bro.
Well, too bad. We're planning one right in the middle of your capital.
You'll thank me later, but right now we're just going to illegally set up a Chick-fil-A in the middle of all your cities. and then Kenya went off and said, whoa, hey, we're going to have to fight you if you're going to do that. And they went, no, don't fight us on it. Because we're trying to help you.
Okay. Just I can just imagine like a meme of like whispering in the air like
don't fight. Like, don't fight. He goes, my incessant urge to just live my basic life. Chick-fil-A. You see what I'm saying? Like that's why I call him the asshole. Now, if I read the book and was like, oh.
Probably. I don't know.
Like, if I read the book and saw something that was like, oh, really, everybody's suffering on a subconscious level because of reason X.
Well, the one thing that is very different from your little scenario you just painted right there is that they don't even experience love.
All right, well, see, now that's where it breaks, right? Then I'm like,
see, but that's the thing, though. Is like once you accept the memory or the feeling of love, then you have to kind of accept everything else.
Right? So you see, that's where he becomes the superhero, right? Because they built a half-assed world. And they were like, okay, well, episode of Star Trek, classic example. There's this dude named whatever the fuck, I can't remember. Okay, but he's this black ooze that is all the evil poured into one entity of this race that ascended to godhood, okay? And they accidentally crash on that planet, but not really everybody, just one of their people crash on that planet. And the ooze was like, I'm all the evil that was this race that became gods. And you know what I'm gonna do with all the power that they had, even though I'm evil?
Set up a Chick-fil-A.
No, effectively, that's what he did. He just, like on a grand scale of things, he was just petty. At the end of the day, so he was like, this is what he did. 3 things. He said, you can't rescue your gat. I don't want you to rescue your gat. I want them to suffer while you stand out here helpless. And they're like, that's fucked. And they're like, well, what are you gonna do about it? I'm not even gonna let you go home. Matter of fact, you see that blind guy? His glasses are on the floor. You want to help him grab his glasses? They're over there now. That's all he did. That's all he did. And you know what they did? They went to him, they went, if you're really evil, then you would have killed us by now. You're not evil, you're just bored. He was like, fuck you. And he goes, yeah, then let us free and then do something. And he was like, I fucking will. And then they took everybody they left, and they left them there. That's all the evil of their planet. and that race, that species, ascended to godhood. By just taking the evil and putting it out there, right? Okay? So now, that's them basically going, we're not going to half-ass this. We're going to take our evil, we're going to put it somewhere it can't escape, and then we're going to let everybody know, don't show up to this planet. Okay? We're going to let the federations know. We're going to let the people that aren't even part of federations know. We're going to let the universe know this planet is off limits. Why? Because there's one fucking thing there that was all of our evil put there. They didn't half-ass it. That society is half-assing it. They're like, we're just going to remove everything and just have robots. And at that point, they're not, what are you accomplishing with that? That's why the guy's a hero. Because he's like, okay, well then if we're not accomplishing really anything other than reproduction and continuing on life and nothing else, then I'm going to spice things up a little bit.
Yeah.
But if they had done it right and been like, hey, and there's no real right way to do it, right? Because we've tried, right? If you're a murderer, go fucking sit your ass on timeout for a couple of decades. Like that's our grand, that's how we fix things. right? Then you get to hero basically, right? But if they'd done it right and been like, hey, you can love your children. That's all I asked for, by the way, right? That's the one thing I said. You could have me work as a garbage man, right? Shoveling shit out of people's toilets, doing whatever the fuck you need me to do. If I could come home and love my kids, I don't give a shit.
Well, again, and this we'll have to end it here because we still have to go back onto our main topic.
Right.
But like, if you experience love, everything has to come with it. It's not it's a package deal.
Right. Yeah.
So you loving your wife and children, other people could love your wife and children. Is that a problem? It can be.
It could.
And that's where it becomes a spark of like
like
shithole stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like that's kind of where your argument, I would say,
breaks.
Falls, but has a fault.
No, I'd say it breaks my argument because at the end of the day, you're right? If I want to
love,
I have to accept everything that comes
somewhat jealousy. You know what I mean? It implies vices as well.
It implies wanting things. It implies needing things.
Let's refresh and get back into our main topic though.
Yeah. So we were talking about this because we were talking about how that is a form of art in which they had utopia, but not really. But what I'm trying to say is like, and this takes us back to what we were saying. Our world is the hardest because we can't have utopia at all.
I don't think any place can have utopia though.
Utopia doesn't work.
It doesn't exist. It's a paradox. Right?
Star Trek works because of the fact that it's the one incarnation of utopia where everybody is like, they feel a sense of duty to everything, right? But to be fair, it's not just humanity at that point, right? It's every single planet in the universe basically going ahead and saying, yeah, it's just us. It's just us. And the more of us we can find, the better we're set off, right? It's pieces of like different like governments and, cultures that build this utopia. We don't have that. We have Earth in our culture. And not a single one of our cultures was ever made without violence.
Yeah. So let's get back to what I was going to. Well, I've been holding off though, but we had head cannons going on.
Yeah, we did.
A little bit. Yeah. On our way back from Tahoe. Yeah. You weren't at that trip, were you?
No.
This man has to be an adult. We lost him, Steve.
Wait, am I a kid for going to Tahoe then?
You're not an adult. What I mean is,
so you just sneak this, dude? What the fuck?
No. What I mean is,
even though he took work off, or he tried to go in between work days.
No. What I mean is, this man.
Where Charles didn't go either.
Yes, but Charles lives
on the way over.
All the way over.
On the way to
Oh no, Charles. Okay, no.
Yeah, it's cool thing.
What I mean is, let me just explain. What I mean is, he could have done what you did. He could have done what you did and taken the time off and made it Tahoe, but he didn't.
I was gone.
Well, where were you?
I was in Vegas.
Oh, then you're just a bitch.
No, because I told Steve the windows that I could go, and then
it was very last minute.
And then you guys it didn't match up with everyone else's schedule.
Right. I thought you were at work the whole time. My bad.
I mean, I was working in Vegas.
Yeah, I'm sure you were, but you were still in Vegas.
Yeah. He was putting in that work.
No, he was putting in that work. I don't know.
No, I was like, hell of a fella.
Anyways, on our way back from Tahoe, Reno, Tahoe.
Yeah,
you were telling her, you were sharing us your little one of your many works that you keep in your head of yours.
So the story of it is a long ass time ago, whenever it was said, I created this one idea as an imagination type deal, and I never let it go, and so I just keep growing and growing upon it. So the idea was, I become God to an extent. I don't have God's powers. What I do have is the ability to give other people superpowers, including myself. So I don't have the power to snap my fingers and say, world peace, right?
Right.
But I do have the power to go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to protect the planet. So that it starts off with, we live in a world where everybody is protected. Everybody has their own personal little ghost that stands around them and protects them. That's called sentiment. We have a form of that in our world called the police. But just not the same.
Let's keep it to your world.
Let's keep it in my world.
Yeah.
So what are you asking about my headcanon? Because are you asking to remind the people what power I gave you?
No, just the whole. Well, yeah, not just me, but you had. If I remember correctly, you said you had
the power for everybody.
Well, you were only able to bestow powers, but you had to have, or you were omnipotent, but you had like
I had
a group of 3 that had to agree upon omnipotence.
So the way it works is, I'm omnipotent to a degree. I can't be omnipotent because if you've been watching any of this podcast, you know I'm not a mentally stable individual. Giving me omnipotence would just be a dumbass move. So instead, I have owners. Those owners are 3 individuals that represent crucial characteristics towards being a genuine, responsible person. That is strength, love, and innocence. Now, I can't give myself powers, but what I can do is give different people powers to create alternate versions of me, so I can give those versions of me powers. But at the end of the day, everybody still answers to the owners, except for you guys, my closest friends and family that don't have to listen to what my owners say. So the way that world works is, at the end of the day, I give you my power, but a lighter form.
Yeah.
You could do exactly what I did, but up to 5.
Yes. So I remember that. You said that you could bestow powers upon whoever you want, and I had a limit on who I can do that
Right,
to.
but you could also give yourself powers.
Yeah. And I didn't have to go through the same.
I
didn't need to be approved of my actions, kind of thing.
Right. So.
What you said you had one? You called him. Wait.
I called him archive.
Which one did you call triple head? Double head, triple head.
Triple head.
No one. I couldn't get over that one, dude.
No.
The name of it alone was so silly.
There's a okay, no, but that was the first one when I was 7. Okay.
That was the best one, though.
It had.
I forget what it was.
So my omnipotent power was all triple head. So triple head was effectively if you took the power of an angel, a demon, and a person, mix them all together. So you have 3 heads as one being. Triple head. but did I give myself that power or did I give it to somebody else?
I don't remember. Let's work, because I thought you said you gave Neil like.
He was archive.
Yeah, what was archive?
Archive is basically a telepath that doesn't have emotion. So he just has.
Sounds like regular me without the telepath.
Right. Well, what makes you overpowered is because you don't have emotions, there's nothing to overwhelm you and overload your mind. So you just are this collective knowledge of every single life on this planet.
Right. He's one of like Laplace's demon.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't do anything for anybody. So the point of archive is really just to bring people back from life, right? He holds your whole.
That's true.
Back from death.
Oh.
You hold their whole being inside your head. So their emotions, their thoughts, their experiences. You have like this little compartment inside the brain.
It's like the giver thing.
It's like the giver thing. So, but when they die, you can basically go. Let's go to Kendall. Kendall will give somebody. So there are 2 others that aren't assigned, but basically you make a new body and you upload their brain back up there. That's what you can do. So you're meant to protect me for all intents and purposes, because all I can do is give the power, unless ordered by the owners. That was the other thing.
Yeah.
The 3 owners can unlock me to omnipotence only if they all agree, and only to command me to do a single action that they all agree on.
Who are the 3 owners?
Well,
yeah.
For intensive purposes, Cassie, my mom, and EG. EG was
that one just.
I was with you, and then you said that last one. I was like, "What?"
Yeah, that one.
You guys gotta understand.
Okay, fair. What?
EG's there because when I was in middle school, when this whole thing just started as the idea, she was the only girl I got along with, and
wait, what?
owners can only be women. Yeah. So she was. It was initially. It was just. You don't remember when I was a kid? I would just go around and be like being weird, right?
You acted like like this has not changed.
I'm weird. I know. No, I doubt they remember, but when I
don't know if people just thought of it as weird or they're just like it's just Kendall.
Yeah, right.
But it's not weird.
Not a lot of people did anything about me, so I guess. But so they probably don't remember. But back in middle school, I was hanging out with E.G., Ariella, Rachel, and Sam. And I pitched them this idea, exactly as I tell you now. Ownership, powers, everything, right? I told them I'd do anything as long as you all agreed on the thing, which was kind of fucked because it was because of their reaction. I had to change it to my mom, and then E.G. could say it, and then whoever I ended up being married to would be the third. Because their first command was to go fuck somebody. I was like, what would you do if I couldn't deny your hand? If I couldn't deny your command? They were like, we command you to go fuck this person. I'd be like, as a kid, I was like, oh, great, sounds good. But as an adult looking back, I was like, that's weird. So that's why EG's been around.
Just she's been there.
She's been there, yeah. And it has to be women, for sure. And there aren't a lot of really good. Christine came close, but
I'm surprised you didn't put Amber in this.
Why? Amber's a horseman.
Amber's a what?
A horseman, like Steve.
Oh, I thought you just said she's a horse. I was like, what the fuck?
No.
Like, damn.
First move in my powers, Amber's a horse.
Can only move in an L shape.
And also, by the time Amber showed up, all 3 spots had already been filled, right? Yeah.
Sorry.
For the head cannon.
Sorry. You're on the wait list.
You know, if my mom ever just comes out and goes, I wouldn't want to be. If I ever get the superpowers and one of the owners just goes, hey, too much responsibility, you'll be first in line. But so you get.
Did you have any? Like, what was? Did you have a power for Amber, the horseman? Or was
Amber's power is stupid because.
I want to hear it.
It's okay. So you know what her full name is, right?
No.
All right. Well, it's what's her middle name. If you follow X-Men, right, you know the Phoenix's name.
Yeah.
Phoenix's name is Jean Grey. Amber's middle name is Jean.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it's the whole thing.
No. So when I heard Jean Grady, I was like, oh, and she's a redhead. Oh. I was like, perfect Phoenix.
She does the Phoenix Force?
Not the Phoenix. No, I wouldn't give her the Phoenix Force.
She made her a horseman.
I'm not copying powers out here, okay?
Okay, sorry, the Phoenix power.
She has fire manipulation and rebirth.
Just rename it. Yeah, just rename it. Not the Phoenix Force. It's the Phoenix Power.
Yeah, Phoenix Power Ultimate Plus.
Force of the Phoenix. It's like
right.
Force of
the So that's because she, it's a dumb power, I know, because it's just the fact that she's a redhead with
she's just
Jean Grey in her name.
She's just Jean Grey.
Right. Without the telekinetic abilities. But yeah. I like Reese's power the best though. I put a lot of thought into it. He's basically Hephaestus. If Hephaestus
he gave Reese airplane engine.
No. Okay. Alright.
The rocket engine. He could just spawn those like
Nobody ever came up to me and was like, hey Kendall, just so you know, your alternator.
Transmission.
That's true. What's an alternator?
Good. We're not doing this right now.
Man, nobody ever came up to me and was like, Kendall, just so you know, the transmission is the majority of the mass inside of your car. Right? I just thought it was this box. You tell me we put jet engines inside a car now you got me all fucked up.
What was Reese's power?
Reese's power is he was basically
he's a smith.
He's a smith, but that can only make vehicles. But there's no limit to what he can make, right? Okay. So if he wanted to make a Death Star, he just has to snap his fingers. Yeah, and so people
it's like a mini it's literally a car that fits in your hand. It's a car, but I mean it shoots lasers.
The parameters of Reese's ability is if it gets you from point A to point B, it's a vehicle. He can build it. However he wants to build it. If he wants to build, no, I don't know.
Okay, Charles, Austin, and
I don't know. Charles was hard. I don't know what he would do.
But you had this planned out.
No, initially,
Killer was like, I got
I was
these
the main
ones.
character. I was the main character, and everybody else in the story was just an alternate form of me. So initially it went, I have 1,000 minds inside my one brain that all kind of just accept that I'm prime.
Prime Mind.
Prime
He's
mind.
Big Brain.
Right. And upon my death, a very specific kind of death, I had to die fighting. They would be released from my mind and therefore bring me back to life. And then this whole story would take place. So there are a bunch of basic acts of powers, but none that I would really give to you guys.
The Horseman.
Because the horsemen are meant to have their own shit. You know what I mean? You know, like, I'm not coming out here like, oh, and so would be a shapeshifter because they have multiple faces or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
Like I don't have everybody's power set up, right? I know Cassie's, I know yours, right? And Reese's. But like, what would Charles be?
So you don't have Austin's either?
No. Right? Because I'm not going to give him power because he plays video games or he's good at art.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him power because I know he can handle this godlike ability and no one else can. No. I would actually, I know what his power is. He could rewrite laws. Like this, right? You're seeing a grass plane, you'll be able to take his pen or his finger and write out volcano. And the volcano would actually shoot up from that spot. I think that's a badass power. That's a power that could fix our planet right there. I'm looking at hair. Oh, who would have a full head of hair again? No longer a dictator.
Pompadour.
Space dandy. Talk about art.
What did you do for Austin?
I just came up with Charles right now. So.
There's a lot of brain power for it right there, man.
I only took him like 2 seconds. Come on.
What would I do for Austin? What would you do for Austin? Think about it. I'm coming up with these off the ball type powers that like people would never go like, oh yeah, that's overpowered as shit. No. Until you think about it. Right? Like Reese's, nobody would go like being able to summon a Humvee isn't that overpowered. But being able to summon a war planet is not that. It's overpowered. It all depends on what you think about it. What would you give off?
I don't know. Yeah. I have to work on that one. I feel like Austin just has teleportation. Like not basic.
Shows up at
Yeah, he just shows up when he wants. Doesn't. He has like
I was gonna say you could control light.
foresight. I was thinking that because
Control light?
Why?
I don't know. Just his major.
I'm gonna leave right now. Look at. I'm creating masterpiece. I'm Edna Mode.
Bruh, come on.
It's Edna Mode. Sorry, Edna Mode. Right? That's what I'm creating. You are Alexander Galbaki. Okay, get the fuck out of here. Bet you don't even know that reference.
No.
So you know that reference? He was the second. In the second Incredible movie, he designed Elastigirl's suit. As compared to the first Incredible movie, Edna made the Incredible suits. Anyway, I would give him the power of teleportation, but sort of different.
I feel like light bending would be a good one for him.
You really think Lightman would be good?
Well, I mean, like if you take it to the realm of like the way we see is through light, right?
Yeah.
Just what I'm seeing right now is light moving.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he had like manipulation or warping of that, then he could literally teleport when he wants, where he wants. He could disappear when he wants, where he wants. And at the same time, he can almost like ruin the fabric of reality.
Yeah, he could. If
On
he
a
could
scale.
control light, he could make it move
It
faster.
doesn't sound as poetic as yours, but
No. I see what you're saying. But we could talk about this more next week when we develop on the episode of Headcanons. What would we be in our own world?
Yeah.
And on that note,
It's your boy Bowie.
and your boy Waffles. By the way,
Is-
no one's actually going to make this a podcast. Or maybe you will. I don't know.
This
This is Cow Surfing.
Peace.
Peace.